So I've just turned on X and YouTube. So X is on. Let's have a look here and see what we've got going on. You just check the delay. I'm certainly not on ES at the moment. Right, I need to mark up charts. Let's have a go. Right, we've got our, it's going to be our 6 hour, 9 o'clock low. I'm expecting this high to go, this 4 hour. Will be interesting. We are bearish. What are you seeing? Are you seeing? Oh, okay, that's fine. The one on Restream's like frozen. Yeah. Well. Afternoon. Right, so are testing streaming through Restream, which we've not done before. So just let us know, Aaron and Mark and that. Just let us know if the sound's okay, everything's all right. So the 4 hours bearish, right? So here's our 4 hour high, here's our 4 hour low, and we know from the statistics that in this half an hour we expect the low, right? So if we're going to have a bearish 4 hour, it's very good probability for us to come take this low. It's all good, yeah? Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Right, so we've got this is going to be our draw high. This is our London high. Today in it, yeah. So current daily low, previous daily lows already gone. Right. London high is currently the current daily high as well. So potentially not expecting that. And obviously our weekly candle you'll see here, right, this is our weekly candle. So yesterday our weekly candle flipped bearish, right? We came back up into our weekly, rejected, and then down we come. So now we are currently bearish underneath our weekly candle. And this is today. Now, see what gold's like. Gold's been an absolute fucking dream today. Nice tap back into the 4 hour. Could potentially back up to the daily, although we have been really bearish. Yeah. We have broke structure on the way out. A little bit further. We could wait for a little bit further. So bearish 1 hour, bullish 1 hour, right? Remember, we see that pattern all the time. Bearish, bullish, right? So a lot of the time when you get the opposing factor, we can use this zone as a previous area where price can come, reject, and carry on down. Which buy signal? What, on normal candles? That buy signal. So we've got required touch 1 hour, 2, smooth and fast, structure. Should be as default, really. I don't want to take that buy signal anyway. We have just structurally broke, so I mean it's not a bad trade. But we wick this high. Bam, 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 wick. Just narrative being bearish. Yeah, that's why I went to Heikin-Ashi. I just wanted to see, smooth out, see what that trend's like a bit, right? See if I want a little bit more confirmation. Now I like this one, bang, bang, and then another little drop down. I like that trade. I like this continuation, even though we get a sell, but we're green, right? So forget that. Come above, retest, confirm and up. I like that. And obviously these have been a thing of beauty all the way down. I wanted to talk through that NQ trade on the way down because that was really clean as well on normal candles. So my favorite trades are the ones, not these that come down and then you're trying to buy off of like a large push down. I like it when these fail. So you can see the 4 hour here, right? And we've been in this choppy zone for ages. We push up, come down, we buy out of it, absolutely fine, right? We then break through, flip. Now this is our 4 hour. So the hourly, and then we come back and test the 4 hour inside the hourly, retest, break to the daily, come back, break through, retest, down, like this price action, this movement, right? This is what I like. I like the breakthrough, retest, continuation. What is this? What is that candle? was it the half back 31? Yeah. Closed there, open there. Weird. So yeah, that's what you're looking for in that move. That breakthrough, retest, nice trade. Right? Cracking trades. NQ's obviously been a bit of a pooey one today. You can see here we already come through and break the hourly low. So, you know, even with this signal, you're coming off the daily into the 4 hour, which you've just broke the low of the hourly. So you want to be really aggressive if you are in that trade in case it reverses on you. But nice rejections off the 4 hour. $20 minutes left. Might be worth a little go on that one on gold. So we can wait for a strong signal. Right now we've got wicks everywhere. For a little bit more confirmation. It's a bit late in the candle as well, but possible. It's not bad. I've already had quite a good day. We really want to see our 10 o'clock candle, right? That's what we're really here for on NQ. Let's see, retest. We've got no bottom wick here on the hourly. That's interesting. See this candle straight up? We've got no bottom wick. So that's something to watch for. Not many candles don't have a bottom wick. Often we can come back and put in one, but we need to break out this sort of chop trend down if we're going to get it. There we go, getting a little bit more of a strength candle there on the Heikin Ashes. It's got no wick. It's just the average is a bit stronger, but we are just correcting down like this. Be nice to see if we can get some momentum out. We've only got 15 minutes left of the hour. Yeah, I'm wondering if we're just going to go and put that bottom wick in at the end and then switch back bearish. Check NQ. So waiting on our 10-hour candle, right? So let me just hide the market structure tables. So candle 5. So in your stats under Alpha Zone, you'll have the 4-hour candle. Candle 5 is our 10 AM candle, right? So we're looking at each hour of the 10-hour, of the 4-hour. We can see recently, really high probability in the first hour we're going to get our high and low on NQ. And same thing on gold, 90%, 75% for our 10 AM candle. So this is where we've really been getting our rejections. So let's see. we've got news, PMI. There's the break, bottom wick. Maybe now retesting here. Let's see what NQ's doing. Between the two zones, the daily and the 4 hour. So remember, our 4 hour is bearish. Here's our 4 hour high. Right, so we came down, went above, came below, rejected to our daily, through our daily, rejected our daily, and then came down. We started a new hour, put in our top wick, came down through. Obviously, we just took the previous day low at that point as well. And then we reversed the candle, broke back above, and come all the way straight up and come through. And then we were talking about in the Discord this trade here, right? So we were talking about, I took the trade in from, I waited for a little bit more confirmation because we came above the 4 hour. So we were talking about why. So this is our 4 hour high. So we're expecting this 4 hour to be bearish, right? So when we come up here, it's like we haven't got that much room for this going to be bearish. We've pretty much retraced the entire candle. So we expect to come down back below the open, right? So I waited until we started to have a little bit more clarity on the Heikin Ashi, where we got more of a stronger, and I just took 10 points as we're above the daily and we have had that strong push up. So that's how we played that signal and why the narrative was around waiting for a little bit more confirmation as you're above the 4 hour. You can see we're just chopping in between the two zones, right? We're stuck in the daily and the 4 hour. When the new 4 hour candle opens in the next 15 minutes, it then should sort of kick us in a direction. And we'll see what happens when we kick in the next 15 minutes. Let's check on gold. So news is kicked in. Yeah, we've put in a bottom wick now. Remember, we didn't have a wick on the previous candle. So we've come below, held. Let's see if now we get that break. What else have we got on news? I don't think there's anything else, is there? It's PMI, 9:45. And then home sales at 10, which is not a major news. So that's news out the way. So yeah, our 10 AM candle on gold. So the last, let's go up time frames, right? So each segment, if I show you a previous one. There you go. Right, so this is showing you the 4 hour candle. So broken into 4 segments, gives us, where's that gone? Just checking it's the same on Heikin Ashi. Yeah, it's the same stats. Right, so we get our 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, segment 1, 2, 3, 4, segment 4, segment 1. And this is tracking where the high and the low is of this particular 4 hour candle. So if we go up time frame, say to the 30-minute, we're now collecting 310 days. So we've got 310 4 hour 10 AM candles. And that's showing you of the 310 bullish 4 hour candles, 81% of the time, the low is in the first hour. Huge, right? And for bearish, 83% of the time, our high is in the first hour. So if we look at that to half an hour segments, yeah, the first half an hour on gold, still 70%. Let me just drop down a bit. Yeah, so 76%, 75, 65%. So even in the first half an hour of this next 10 a.m. candle, we've got really good probability of our high and low being formed for that 4-hour candle on gold. I think NQ is a little bit similar. There you go, 67%. So this is what we're waiting for that 10 a.m. candle. We've drawn on our potential draws, right? And I'll talk through what they are while we're waiting. So I'll just turn off the 4-hour stats. So we know really good probability for this candle, is why we're trading it. So let's go down and I'll explain our draw. Right. So we want to use the last hour high and low, right? So this is going to be the 9 o'clock low, right? We put it in normal candles. This is going to be the current daily low. Right? So this is giving us our sort of main levels. Right? We could come back and visit the weekly where we passed through last night, right? Or we could carry on bearish to continue the week. So we're still rejecting from this 4-hour candle, this 4-hour zone, which is where it is there. But the reason why this is our draw high is this is our 9 o'clock high and 9 o'clock low. So if you think about it from, if I go on an hourly candle, right? What's the first high that we broke was the previous hour, right? Previous hour, previous hour, previous hour, previous hour high and low, previous hour high and low. So our first draw at 10 a.m. is the previous hour high and low, right? So it's always going to be our previous hour high and low. And then after that, the next draw is going to be our 4-hour high and low, because obviously we got a new 4-hour candle. So we're currently putting in another high, which statistically we expect the high and low. So if we go into 4-hour candle stats and we do the candle before, so candle 4 is this 4 hours that we're looking at now during New York Open. And if we go up to, we change it to, yeah, half an hour, which is fine. So segment 8 is the last half an hour, which is New York Open, right? So you can see on a bullish candle, 75% of the time, the high is in the last half an hour. So this is now a bullish candle and we've just taken the high, right? And our low will be in a different segment. Same thing for a bearish candle. 90% of the time, the low is going to be, and I'll increase time frame so you can see that a little bit more on the 15-minute. So collect some more data. It's a really, well, some of the orb strategy is going to be built around this. Right, so you can see now 116 bullish candles, 84% of the time the high was in the last half an hour. Now only 22% of the time the low was as well. What does that mean? It means that only 22% of the time did, when London opened for that first half an hour, did it take the high and the low. So most of the time it just went in one direction. Now we can see within the first half an hour, 31%, 10%, 10%. So there's really good probability that the direction of the 4 hour is going to push the direction of the last 30 minutes to be the same as well, right? And you'll just get that continuation push from New York. So gives you really good statistical for that 4 hour. that in New York Open potential a directional push. Especially with us already taking the previous day low and then flipping when we came all the way back up above that 4 hour, that potentially we could have that continuation. And we just stuck between these zones, the daily and the 4 hour, and then break through. So really we are expecting to see, so we've just taken London high. So really interested to see how we react off of this weekly. Tommy! Sorry, but I wasn't looking at the chat. Hey, mate. Hey, Peter. Sorry, I was engrossed in data. Gold going back bearish now. Oh, yeah. So, nice close below, retest, continuation. Like I said, with bearish narrative, right? Being bearish, coming down. Nice break. And these are my favourite trades. These where we come up in a direction, fail, break through, retest, and go. Like, that is literally my favourite trade, which is why I took it here on the daily this morning. Yeah, when we came through the daily, retested it, and then bang. There are my favourite trades. But yeah, that was a nice breakthrough, nice close below. We never had a bottom wick, and then bam, down we go. Nice trade on gold. Yes. Same thing, we come above, holding that current hour and daily, and a nice retest and go. Right, we're up at the weekly on NQ, so this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. Two minutes, not a bad place, you know. What day are we on? We're on Thursday, and we've taken the low, right? So we've come down and taken the low. So realistically, this weekly candle, have we taken the low? We've gone bearish. Yeah, taken the low there. So, I mean, while we could get some retracement up this leg, we do expect that, you know, the weekly is going to close bearish now that we've taken that low. So we are currently at the weekly level, right? So it's not a bad place to look for positions. Still very strong. Ooh, new 4-hour candle. Right, so we've got our new 4-hour candle. This one just should be just on the default, pretty much when you load. So 1 hour, requires touch 1. Smooth and fast, signal cooldown 15. Market structure bias on. Market structure is 2-minute market structure. Yeah. So I'm going to load up the fadey 4-hour candles. I'm going to show you. We want last 3. I don't know what that one is. I don't know what colour that is. Maybe that one. Right. So we've already taken the high of the previous hour. Right? So we've already taken that high for this 4-hour. So we could potentially retrace previous alpha zone, previous 4 hours here, right? So you can see how it's lining up with that 4-hour candle. So either we could have a really strong bullish push out of here, or potentially another retracement back down into this alpha zone here. Well, let's see. NQ obviously hasn't been anywhere near as clean as gold today. Showing that on the Discord when we were going through market structure this morning on the Discord. You know, talking about how you can see, you know, the market structure holding off the daily, bullish, bullish. We failed to take the low. We come below, reject. Now we go bearish, right? And we start that bearish phase down, come through the daily, flip the daily candle bearish. Continue on down, retrace back to the daily, right? So we've already taken this 4-hour low. So if we go bullish out of this 4-hour, then I would expect again a retracement back to our 4-hour alpha zone. Remember, the idea of the alpha zones is the area between buyers and sellers, where we see often volume kick in either way. Gives us a location to trade from, mechanical one as well. So we've already taken, so currently this is the high for the day. We've got this giant candle to potentially retrace through. Look better on the 2-minute. Yeah, do you know what I mean? So we've got plenty of movement through here to retrace through. When we take the high of a candle, if you're on Traders Toolkit, you'll be getting the 4-hour candle stats. So we were looking at this yesterday as well, right? So we want candle 5. I'm just going to put it into, I'll put it, yeah, put it into 4. No, we want candle 4, no, candle 5. And yeah, that's right. So location. So here we were looking at, right, when the 4-hour candle, right, when candle 5, this area starting at 10 a.m. So it's just looking at that particular 4-hour candle. If we take the previous 4-hour high, what was the probability that that 4-hour closed bullish? So again, if we go up time frames, we can see that in the first hour actually gave us the lowest probability of it closing, 69% probability it closes bullish, but it does give us you know, more probability right now that this 4-hour candle continues on bullish. We can have a look at that on half-an-hour segments. Yeah, so even then, even if we got it in we got it in the first segment, so 65%. If we'd have taken it in the second half an hour, you can see how that dramatically increases the probability of it being a bullish hour. Should have really been watching for a little retest instead of looking at stats. So we come out of the 1 hour, come up a bit, retest. The daily levels can be some incredible trades, right? Trading from the daily, you can pick up some really nice trades. This weekly level is interesting for me, right? If we just look at this weekly level, it's just how we've flipped the weekly candle bearish. I think tomorrow is going to be interesting. Friday. Would be easier for me to see a trade like this. That'd be an easier trade to play, right? Because we're inside this weekly. Still holding our daily, still holding our 4-hour though. So we're just going to wait. Be a bit patient. Been a cracking day though today. We've done this a few times on the 4-hour though, right? When we so yesterday. Where was it? Oh yeah. Yeah, so yesterday, right, oh, I've got a bit forward. Yesterday we were stuck against that daily box, right? So yesterday's trade, we did the same thing. We played that break above, retest, and then we traded up, targeting the current highs, right? So yesterday's narrative was very similar in terms of breaking the high, other than we weren't stuck against that box, we're stuck against the weekly. And then you can see here we came up and we're expecting some sort of retracement back to the 4 hour, which is what we got here, right? We got that break, retest, and then down we go. The reason why we're getting a buy signal is market structure is still bullish up there. So you switch off market structure, your narrative is bearish, right? Break, retest, and then obviously we plummeted through the daily as well. For me, that is obviously against those probabilities that we've seen. The fact that once we break that first hour, it's more likely that this is to be our low. So when you do break them, when you do come the opposing way, especially in that last hour, they tend to be really aggressive moves and you'll get a really strong push. So it's a setup that can be something to look out for. Even this on this 4 hour as well, these are a nice setup just before New York. We had that break above the hour, we retest, continuation onto the daily. And then obviously we break the daily, hold the daily and continue on. That was our trade. So today we're looking at the weekly for this breakdown. It's looking good. Wait and see. So our market structure is bullish. So if I want to get a sell signal on this, I need to go into my settings. Right, I need to turn off market structure. Right, you can see we get an early sell signal there. I don't want to use that. So I'm going to go in my settings. I'm just going to put on especially for this hour, we want to have a little wait. We don't want signals immediately. So let's put 15 candles on. So we're going to wait for our signals. And now I'm looking for, we get a break. Let's see if we can get that retest and take a trade. You're just going to go, aren't you? You're not going to give me the retest. I want a buy signal. So we're below, right? So we've broken a low. So even though we're getting a buy signal here, I can say I want to be above or below the open. So nice retest. Oh shit, I've already I had 10 points on, so I'm already done. Shit. So basically I took the trade on this here. I had 10 points set on my brackets. So basically I've already done 10 points straight away on that trade. I was looking to try and take it back to this previous level. That was what I was looking for. However, yeah, That's me not having my brackets ready. For my last trade, I was not looking to take too much on it. Let's see if I can just... So yeah, there's my 10 points. Done out of the zone. Right. Would have liked to play it further, but I mean, I've had a good day anyway. Like I've won plenty of trades today, so that's trading today so far. So even at 1R, you'd be done, right? So 1R's done. Sorry, even if you want to put your stop above there, let's say, you had a little bit more room. 1R's done, and even if you wanted to do 1R and partial break even, fine, but I expect it to come back to our previous alpha zone. I think this is, you know, even around here, you might want to be careful. We've got this low as a potential here, but I think this area here as well could be a place to take some profits. But I think this is where I'm looking for looking for us to kind of retrace back down. It's a big candle, so we don't always retrace all the way down it. But the point being is we're not trying to catch all the move. We're trading from these areas where we expect price to complete. And even if you're just doing, like I say, 1.5R, 1R, you're done, right? You only need to catch 10 points, right? Done. Sorry, I'll move these out of the way. I'm just going to put my signals back to what they were. Not going to get a sell signal now anyway. So if you're trading against the trend, it's, you know, obviously you might want, you need to be a little bit more cautious. We have a bullish trend, right? We're trading against this bullish push. So sometimes better to be a little bit more cautious with the trade. However, like I said, I still think that is the trade. But I'd definitely be, you know, looking to take profits when we're against the higher time frame. These stupid size of these. Hope anyone else has still got it running. Didn't leave their brackets on like me, like a fucking idiot. There's a sell signal on gold, is there? That's fine. I mean, the whole point of the alpha boxes, right, is that like, yes, there's signals, but it's also giving you a system to trade as well, right? So you're not just reliant on signals. And long term, like, build up your confidence in what you're looking for in the trade as well, right? And to trade those tap-ins, because obviously it's only a really tiny tap-in here, right? So I have to turn off market structure. Let's see if we do number of signals. I'm not sure even if that's enough of a move on that tap back in. So we do have another set of signals coming as well, which would you'd have got a signal on that one as well. But it's just too little of a tap really to generate, I think. But the narrative of knowing what you're looking for, right, and taking that trade. we know the structure of a candle, right? If you watch my concept video, you'll understand how we structure a candle, what we look for. We're inside our weekly. What have we said? Our weekly's been bearish. It's potentially a point where we might reverse, right? So wait for it to close below. We switch the hourly candle bearish. We tap back in and we continue on down. And that's the narrative of the trade. Weekly level. So we're trading up into a weekly level. So ideally, we haven't got much to target above. So the better trade, as I laid out, would be if we could come below, then at least we could play this retracement back into this 4-hour candle, right? Because a lot of the time we'll often have a retracement back down. Now we might not make it all the way back to this alpha zone here, but it's this is definitely where obviously you'd want to be taking some profits around this sort of area. We've got a couple of open VIBs here, right? These gaps. So it's a good place to take a little bit of profit, even if you're going for 2R. I think you'd have just still not quite got 2R. 2R would have got you down to this fib here, which is just hit now. And then even if you're coming for this low, it's 2.96. Could be trailing as well. I definitely have a trail below this, above this high if you're trailing. But it's a good trade. GG to anyone who got it. I've just changed my signal. So when you get used to the system and when you get used to the indicators, like you have your standard settings, right, across what we think is a generic good setting. And a generic good setting, I think, is one signal, required touchback, 1 hour, using market structure, right? So without any narrative, without any experience, this is what you'd be trading on the 2-minute. And then also, if you're not using narrative, even using the Heikin Ashi, right? And here you wouldn't have any signals, okay? And today's not a great day. But then on gold, obviously, you're trying to find that clean price action with market structure. You know, you'd have had the signals that you wanted on gold today, or even down on the 1 minute, right? Structure's great on the 1 minute as well. So again, not ideal when you're trading above, right? Ideally, we want to trade, come up, come through, and tap back in. Like I said to you here, these are my favorite trades. This is what I like to play. Is that where we come up, come through, retest, and drop down. That and narrative of direction. We're bearish. We come back up to the daily. But these are all in the videos and the course that we cover, or I cover, and what you want to do. So like this buy signal, you wouldn't want to take that buy signal. Why? Because your Heikin Ashi trend is bearish. You're up into the 4 hour, right? And the 1 hour. So ideally you want to wait, right? Just wait until you get a Heikin Ashi that's gives you a strong continuation, and then you can get in on that, unless you get it like this straight away, and that's fine. 2 minute helps a little bit more, right? So this one you could have waited. This is where I took my 10 points. You know, I didn't want to run a trade long here, just with New York opening. I was expecting us just to retrace a little bit, maybe back to the daily. That's why I had my 10 points bracket on. This was our 4 hour high. Wasn't expecting that to go. So that was the narrative for the trade. Now we're getting a 2 minute buy, right? Now this is with market structure. So here's our market structure low, here's our market structure high. So if we were looking at it from a retracement point of view, we have come into the 50%, right? So we've come down into a discount. And then potentially we could look for that continuation targeting the high. I'd rather we came down further into this zone. This is where I'd much rather take any trades out of. Or alternatively for today, if we could break this daily, come back into the daily, then we could be targeting the current daily low. We've got these equal lows here, right? So for narrative for me, that would be nice to see structural change, tap in the daily and continue down for the low. Alternatively, a continuation out of this zone. And the signal's now gone. Yeah. You have to wait for the candle close for confirmation. Once it's closed, that's it. It's locked in. So you understand the narrative of the trade, right? Is between zones, right? So between zones. So we've got a 4 hour and our weekly. We would expect to at least retrace to our previous hour, which we've done, right? Our previous 4 hour, which is just here. We're just coming into that 4 hour zone nearly, right? But we're back into our hourly and we start seeing some of those rejections. So that narrative of where you're targeting, you've got lows, you've got previous alpha zones, you've got the daily. This is where you're looking to take it. Which is a real shame because it was like, yeah, 270 ticks. A bloody pain in the arse, stupid brackets on. Yeah, great trade. And you know, we went through the narrative of the trade, and that's what kind of you want to be working with on that narrative, right? In terms of where are we on the daily? Are we above the daily? Are we below the daily? Where are we in market structure? Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Where are we? We're kind of up into a higher time frame zone, right? So we've come back up into our weekly zone after going bearish. So therefore, like I said, it's potentially a good position to sell in, right? When the candle's gone bearish. You know, we'd really expect over the next 2 days this low to go if we're going to be bearish, right? We expect to have another weekly low, especially being so close to the weekly and it only just happening. So we would expect that low to go. But trade-wise here, when we came up, laid it out, right? Really want to see us close below, retest, and then come down to that previous level. That's exactly what we've done. That is what we teach. That is 101 how you want to trade. And then we've got a 10 a.m. candle to give us that narrative. Right? We've done our first 26 minutes. So we're not even halfway through the 4 hour candle. Loads of patience here with this 4 hour candle now. There's still tons of opportunity. We've just been able to grab that early trade. Stupid bracket. So I'm just seeing where we are. So we have come not quite to the 4 hour, we're in the hourly. So I don't mind that sort of trade out of there, trade back up, but not quite close enough yet. I'd like to see it come right to here. But so the reason why we're generating this signal is because we're filtering to say we want to have trades from our zones, right? We want to trade from our zone, but we're using the last two because you often get that pattern. I'll show you on gold. It's the last one we saw it on, right? Where we have a bearish candle, a bullish candle, retrace back to the previous hour or previous alpha zone, acts as resistance, rejects, and then send us on down. So what we're saying with our signals is you can use the last two zones, but you have to have been in touch the zone to generate a signal. So when we're looking at this signal line in Q, because we're using the last two zones, this is our hourly, right? So if I was just to, I'll reduce this to the last two just to make it clean, and I extend the zone. Actually, I've done 22. That's not good. Hang on, it's going to go a lot. Hang on, let it update. Right, so we can see that we extend that zone, right? This has been our previous hour, our current hour, which our current 4 hour as well, right? It's gone down and it's closing below. If you go into your pro settings and go into tables, you can see all of the current candles that you select, how long they're currently got left, right? So 15 minutes, got 4 minutes left, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 4 hour, 3 hours 30. Which is always handy without having to check on the time frame how long's left. because obviously everything we do when we trade is all around the opening and closing of candles, right? And the narrative of bottom wicks, top wicks, and volume. So here you'd just be looking for a potential retracement back. And we might play a bit of ping pong, right? Now, when we look at our data for this 4 hour, we can absolutely come back up, break this high, right? Retest and take a long out of here as well, right? That is absolutely on the cards because we're only 30 minutes in, right? And you know, in the first 30 minutes, if we look at our data, sorry, I normally turn the tables off just to make it easy when I load the data. So if we look at our 4 hour candle stats, right? Our 4 hour candle stats show, we want to use candle 5. Let's go up to the 15 minute. Right, so in the first half an hour, we can see that, you know, 60% average of the time of a bullish candle, right? The low is going to be in the first half an hour. Same thing for the high. So if we look at our current hour, we've got our high, we've got our low in the first half an hour. So breaking this high and low now will give us a little bit of insight into where then we can project that candle to go, right? Because if we take the high, for example, right, it means there's no longer a high in the first half an hour, and you can see the probability now drops. In segment 2, in the second half an hour, it's only 17%. So it's not a guarantee, but it's just a directional advantage that it gives us, right? And then if we look at that from an hour instead of half an hour, right? So in the first hour, once we've broken or created a new high or low in the first hour, we can absolutely have really, really strong confidence of our high and low data, right? Of what the outcome of that candle is going to be. You know, 78% of the time, 75% of the time. You know, same thing on gold. We're tracing back up that 4 hour. Possibly back to the previous 4 hour alpha zone on that as well. Yep, same thing. Look, you know, 128 candles, 81% of the time, 76% of the time. If you want more, let's go to 30 minutes. If 128 days aren't enough, that's fine. 323 bullish days, 289 bearish days. That's a lot of data for a particular candle, 80% of the time, first hour, right? NQ. 79, 75%, right? 318 and 275 days. That's a lot of data, right? So this is a statistical edge. It helps you to know if you're bullish or bearish, where you can expect to see your high and low, and then when you can see a distribution. And it doesn't give us as much of a, it's not as big, but we can see the last hour, especially the last 2 hours, we can expect more distribution out of our candles. So wherever we are now, we can expect more highs and lows, right? So we don't need our candle stats now. Still getting wicks on the high Kanashi, right? 1 minute. There's a little bit more. Still not strong on that really. Let's see if we can get a tap back up. And we get that bounce between zones. Ugh. Oh, struggling. So again, we're going to flip. Ideally, we want to see this high, right? Tap, tap, continuation. Between zones is always good. You can see we often ping pong, right? If we look at, where were we? Is it yesterday? Ping ponging yesterday? Yeah, we were, wasn't it? So. Or is this the day before, actually? This is the day before. So here we can tell we got in a zone, right? Because when we started, we had our 4-hour high above us. So we had a bearish 4-hour, and then we started to go bullish. The same thing again, right? We've got, where's our alpha zone? Our alpha zone, we've got one here and one here. So we're starting to push up. Obviously, if I extend those, the last zone, you'll see that comes through here. Maybe if I turn off 30, that might help. It's because I'm streaming from the computer as well, being a bit laggy. How's everyone doing today anyway? Got some good trades? I know Lang's had a good day. We're going to be putting in the Discord, in the training course, like we're going to build out the model with the rules, right? Really, really important. Really important that we have the... Nice one, buddy. Nice to see you. Hey, hey. So, really important that we have our clarity in our rules for our 10 a.m. And the 10 a.m. model is going to be called the Golden Goose, just because it's the best 4-hour candle on New York, and for a lot of them, right? Just love it. So when we're trading inside like here, when we're getting opposing candles. Nice. It's been a good week then. Thursday, first loss. That's amazing. Here, we just played ping pong, right? So just absolutely destroyed it. So we had our 4-hour open. So we take the same narrative, previous hour low, previous hour high. We start off bearish on the 4-hour, fail to take the low, and then we take the high here. Already given us a narrative that, guess what, it doesn't want to take this low yet. So more likely we're going after this high, right? And then we bounce in between the zones. And then it was like trade, 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 trade. Like it was just pinged from here to here. It was just beautiful in some of those trades in between until we get that breakout, right? We break out and then we went straight for that high, which was the trade that we were expecting. See how we're making highs, right? Out of this 4-hour, and we push bullish. And then eventually we get our flip again, where we go in the opposing direction. And it's that perfect setup again, right? We come above, come below, retest our alpha zone, bang to our 4 hour, right? And then we get a new 4 hour candle. When we get a new 4 hour candle, everything can change because the stats for this 4 hour candle have now gone. So we get a new 4 hour candle. What do? Exactly the same thing again. We push up, we put in our top wick, we break through, we retest, and we absolutely plummet straight through the previous 4 hour. Back in, retest, right? Back to the weekly, bounce off the weekly, back to the previous 4 hour, back to the weekly, right? New 1 hour, come down, come above, retest, back to the 4 hour. Same stuff over and over and over again. Like, it's the keep it simple with the model, right? We're keeping it really simple. All right, we finally come back to that 4 hour that we wanted. Oh, I just didn't make it. So back in our hourly, another little rejection out of it. This looks a bit stronger now. Let's have a look. Yeah. So what we have done is we have taken the low in the first half an hour. So could see this now being more bearish. So you definitely want to see this high go before we flip bullish, right? So we want to see a tap of this high, a retest, and a continuation. Otherwise, you know, we've got strong levels to get through before we get to our draw for the low. So we could be looking at that, but we're holding this level nicely at the moment. I still expect us to bounce and come back to this level. Today I have taken 3 trades today, and I really only wanted to take 2 of them. But I just could not trade this gold trade out of the daily. I just couldn't. I could not. That was just too clean. Just too clean. So yeah, here out the daily. Yeah, and then the NQ one, like this trade here is just absolutely picture perfect. I love that trade. I'm annoyed that my brackets were on because that's exactly where I wanted to play, back to this 1 hour, and it would have been a cracking 4 hour. Nice rejections out, right? So even these here, these taps, you're getting, well, if you're using the 2 minute, yeah, sandwich in between on the 2 minute. So it's just something to be wary of right now, right? So when we talk about ranges, here's the previous 4 hour, here's the current 4 hour. So we are just in between the two, right? So 4 hour, 4 hour, 4 hour zone. We're just in between these two zones, right? So it'd be nice to see a break of the daily for our low and then our daily low. Which we could quite easily do. Remember, the weekly was bearish, right? So if we look at the weekly, I've shown this picture many times, but yeah, break at the weekly, retest. We've come down, put in a new low, and then we took our previous day low, come back to the weekly. So very corrective today after that move, right? Really corrective, chip, chop, chip, chop, and then we've kicked in with some volume. But I think we could expect to see us potentially break through. How's ES looking? Okay. So ES did the same thing. We're just in between the two, but we rejected. Come below the daily, right? Previous hour, rejection, rejection, still rejection. Our weekly is already up here. We're a lot more bearish on ES. Market structure wise, we are bullish, so it's just something to be wary of. So here's our market structure low. So we have retraced, right? We have retraced down. Again, for some sort of continuation, you'd want to see us come back up, flip this high, retest the 4 hour and get a nice continuation. Yeah, it's a shame it's we've got to get to that low. NQ, same thing, right? Here's our bullish low. Holding the level nicely. Another test, another test, another test. You know, even just if you're scalping out of these zones, they can be like 10 points, right? Just done. But it's just that battle, right, of buyers and sellers. And this is what the zones are kind of putting in those areas for you, of where buyers and sellers can meet. Check gold. Nice retracement back up on gold. Yeah, so we got that new 4 hour, right? So you can see how we flip the new 4 hour ends, scrolls down, comes down, flips, tests, trades back to its previous 4 hour, right? Our next alpha zone. See how clean it is. Breakthrough, retest, down, new 4 hour, structure, retrace, and then we can see, right, are we going to break through, retest, continue to the daily, or is this going to be our area where we can then continue back down, right? Sometimes with these, it's like, that's where I like having the above or below open. So it will stop any trades that are above or highs, I think, as well. Can't use that with Heikin-Ashi, the highs and lows. Can't use that with Heikin-Ashi, but above and below the open you can. So it'll ensure, like, if we're any of these were above, it needs to be signals out of there, which if we went down the 30-second, we'd probably have a buy. Oh no. See. Nice rejection. So see how we break through this with volume, right? So we break back through with volume, and then we come back in to retest and go. Beautiful tap of the previous hour and previous 4 hour. Nice rejection. I'm not sure I'm going to get. Won't get a sell signal on them. Let's increase the number of signals. This is a beautiful tap and rejection. I can't get, I need to turn off above and below the open if I'm going to use that. Yeah. So that would have been your sell signal out of there, right? Using the 30-second. Try and find that time frame where you're going to get the pull and the signal. The concept of alpha zones. Absolute killer support and resistance. Like, how many trades can we see here, right? Even if you take this, right, comes to low, could have been break even. Even if you take a loss, right, take a loss, you're back in again, right? Retest, and then you get this trade from here back to here, right? So even if you were using, you know, the entire box as your stop loss, from the entry to the end to the previous hour to the previous box is 3R, right? Even off of this signal, right? Even if you wanted to use the entire box, right? You're already hit your 1R, potential return to the previous, back to the 4-hour. No problem. You could have just used the hourly. Done. Right. So good. So good. Let's check on Enki. We are just bouncing. Yeah, let's go up. 1 second. We are just bouncing. What do you reckon? Are we going to hold, stick with market structure, carry on bullish, or higher time frame weekly level and carry on bearish? I mean, obviously, like, our trade's done, so I don't really care. Definitely done enough today. Come on, let's break through. So the beauty is, every hour we're going to get another zone, right? Because we're using hourly zones and our higher time frame of 4-hour zones. So we'll have, and you know, we're bearish on this hour. If we're going to go bullish, what you'll find is a lot of the time on a new hour, will then, that bullish candle will then kick in, right? So if we look at, say, the last 6 hourly candles. So we're retracing down our previous hour, right? So this is our previous hour. Here's our alpha zone, right? Where we're in now. Previous hour to that was bullish as well. So a lot of the time we can have this retracement, and then when we get a new hour, right? That new hour will then potentially switch bullish and be that reversal. Well, it'll be interesting. See if we get this breakthrough. So back to the previous 4-hour. Nice breakthrough. So remember, our daily candle's currently bullish. So here's our daily candle. So we've had bearish, bearish. We've retraced up our daily candle. And now potentially we've already taken the low. We could see the daily candle flip and go bearish. And we're looking for our continuation of our low. So nice strong close below the previous 4 hour. When we took that low there, if you remember, that gave us a slightly more probability of this was going to be our high. Well, let's see if we get a little rejection and a little tap back up. Not quite there on the 1 minute. Let's just give it a second. I think possibly if we could, even if it was just back to the daily, but we want to think that daily could flip potentially, or alternatively we can wait for the draw, potential retest, and then maybe for the current daily low, right? That could be a potential trade as well. Let's see, we've got 2 minutes until we get a new candle. So back above. bullish market structure. Is it just still holding out? New 1 hour candle. So this is the beginning of our first new 1 hour. I think I need a new computer. So here's our 1 hour. Okay, so the market structure is putting in a new low. So this will be interesting as well. So if we're going to switch bearish, this could be another signal as well, right? Taking this low will then give us confirmation of market structure shift. Right now it's still bullish, right? There's our low, there's our high, there's our low, there's our high. Just formed a new low. New hour's starting. So this is our new hour. Could retrace back up to our previous hour. Very indecisive this hour. If you look, you've got wicks at the top, wicks at the bottom. We're going to come back to there, or we're going to come back on down. So potentially, are we putting in our top wick to then flip and go bearish? Or are we going to come up? So this white area here is our 4 hour, and then the other ones are weekly. So that gold trade we were looking at out of the 30 seconds, played off of that rejection down nicely back to our previous zone, which we're just about to hit, or not. You can see the hour starts there, bearish. Either way, you want to be done if you're down here, get out. That was a nice trade off of our previous level, right? just stuck in this messy bit, right? Just right now. We can have a bit of time on the 4-hour candle. We don't need to rush. I mean, we've already got a trade anyway, but it doesn't really matter. Just sort of showcasing the movement between. I'm only showing 2 1 hours, that's why I need to have more. I don't want them extended. All right, so we've come up. Let's see if this 1 hour is going to flip or if it's going to hold. So 7 minutes in, still early, it's just a bit messy. We can expect that, right? Previous candle, wicks below, wicks above. It'd be much cleaner now if we could just come up and take this high and break out of the weekly, or break below the daily and switch bearish. Man, what are we doing for the rest of the day? Need to decide what we're going to do. Well, gold has carried on its bearish trend. It's been so much cleaner today, gold. Nice 1 hour, back in, retest. It is a lovely trade. It's one of the things that we try and focus on, right? It's cleaner price action. Yes. Back above the hourly, retested it and broke above. I think we're in the daily and with the previous 4 hour here as well. So, nice rejection. So we'd want to see this hour flip bearish if we were going to continue on down. I think you could see us come below, back in, and then maybe a market structural shift, and we'll go bearish. Have we put in a... Yeah, this has already confirmed our low for the market structure as well, isn't it? So possible we might get an inside bar, right? So we were choppy here, and we have this new hour. We're 10 minutes in. If you think about the height of it and where we are, there's a good chance that we will trade inside of this zone, inside of this range here, and potentially give a inside bar. So that'll be interesting to see. And then we could look at obviously a breakout from the inside bar as an option. We've got inside bar data on the hourly. Right. Or are we going to break below? So we can see on the hourly, right, when we get an inside bar, we've got an 81% probability that when we break one side of the inside bar, that we're going to go and take the opposing side. So we're looking at on here. Let's say this was the inside bar, but now, right, if we took this high, then there'd be an 86% probability of us taking this high without breaking this low, right? That's what it means. So that can be a play if this hour plays out like that. We'll see. Yeah, I think that might be a nice play if we get an inside bar. Is wait for one side to go and then give us a directional target on this. Or just look at another pair for a bit. There's CL's daily. CL off the weekly. So CL's bearish on the weekly, right? So we come below, take the low, come back into the weekly, come back to the weekly, and bang, trade away from it. Current 4 hour up, tap, go. New hour, break above, tap. Yeah, I think the daily target's pretty good. Gold, the trade was there. Back into our 4 hour. If we could see this 4 hour low go here and switch the 4 hour bearish, that could be a nice continuation trade on gold. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I might just stick an alert on. Right now in NQ, we're just inside this. This is a better place to trade from, here or here, rather than in here. So, you know, if we come up and get a rejection from here, we could trade back out of our 4 hour. If we take the high, we could trade back out of it above. All right. So, yeah. So candle flips. Let's see, we now go bearish. This would be our draw. If we're to take a high and low, it'd be one of these, right? The first hour, high and low. I mean, this is not an area, this is messy area, right? When we look at this, Here's our 4 hour, here's our previous 4 hour. We are between the 4 hours, right? Not a great place. We're going to go for that low, maybe. How far are we in? 15 minutes in. So in an hour, the first 20 minutes make up a high proportion of where we see our highs and lows. So first 10 minutes is here, and we take our 10-minute low as an early indication of a bearish hour from a statistical point of view. Get rid of inside bar. Where are we? Have I gone too far? There's candle 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it'll be 10, 11, 12. Where candle 12? Right. Let's have a look at the stats for candle 12. Go to the 5 minute. Yeah, first 10 minutes, like 58%, 53% probability of getting a high and low base over the last. So if we go up to the 10 minutes, can we get a little bit more? 59% bearish, it's been 50%. First 20 minutes, it's like 60%. So slight advantage. Nothing huge on this hour. It's not giving us any really strong indication. If we put it to 3, that's 20 minutes. So each segment is 20 minutes. Wait for it to load. Yeah, so after the first 20 minutes gives us a better indication on this hour, and on the bearish side it's not great, 62%. So there's better hours with better data, but so when we're looking at this 1 hour candle, we're now on 20 minutes, right? So that was our 18 minute low, so 20 minutes is up. So most of the time our high and lows put in, like we saw, like 60% of the time for this candle, if we're bearish, if we're bullish. We only get a slight advantage by us taking the low here of a continuation. we have put in another market structure high, which is interesting. So come above, failed to take the low, failed to take the high, right? So if you look at these, we failed to take the low, but we came and take the high before we put in a high. It's indicative of being in a bit of chop. We come and come down, put a low in, but failed to take the low, and then we come and put a high in, right? And we failed to take the high. So a lot of the time we'll create some sort of consolidation before getting a break and a continuation. We really want to look at like here and here being our area, right? I think I posted this before on X. So when we're between the 4 hours, right? This is our range. So if we'd have gone bullish and held bullish, then obviously we get that continuation of the trend. But while we sit in between the previous 4 hour candle and this 4 hour candle, we are still potentially, we're just in between this area. So previous 4 hour was bullish, current 4 hour is bearish, and it's just to see whether, you know, are we going to flip and go bullish? We've had our first hour on the 10 a.m. candle, right? So remember, now in the first hour is statistically our high and low. So if we take this low now, we can expect the 4 hour to remain quite heavily bearish. We have a slight advantage of it being early on, that it's more like there's a slight advantage. This is our high and we might go carry on bearish. But we can see that if we break this high and tap back in for a continuation. If this 4 hour is going to remain in a range, then it might be the next 4 hour. Once this is complete, that gives you the breakout and the continuation. But this is the same thing that we looked at earlier when we went back to that previous 4 hour example. Can't remember where we were. Was it the other one? Yeah, this one. Right. So we had that 4 hour high here, 4 hour low there, and we opened in the middle, right? Well, on this one we opened, and we just chopped in between. And the week before, if you remember last week, there was a lot of people where it was like same thing. We had this chop in between zones, right? So daily 4 hour, and then our 4 hour opened in the middle, and we just chopped for a bit in between before we broke the daily and carried on the new, I think it was on the new 4 hour. So there's plenty of examples of that last week. Same thing here, right? Four hour, and then the previous 4 hour, 1, 2, 3 was here. Oh, that's not loaded yet. So again, we were stuck between those two zones. 4 hour 2. Oh, I know why. We need to show 3. And you'll see that previous 4 hour there. Look at that, right? It's the same thing again. We're stuck between the two zones, right? So we've seen this quite a lot recently. and then eventually we'll get the breakout, right? And away we go. Right, fairly common. Nice off the daily, back to our 4 hour. And then end the day. So these ranges where we sit in between, fairly common pattern that you see as well, where we want to trade between the ranges. So we've taken that high, so we expect this hour to remain bullish now. And I think we probably will get that inside bar on the hourly. Are you in the CL trade? Have you got there? Sorry, I wasn't looking. In the long, so we've just wicked the high. Above the zone on the 4 hour, right? We're bullish. I've got my settings wrong. Only want one. Oh, you posted it in Discord? Oh, nice. Nice use. I like the 15 minutes as well. It's very good. Hey, also has a beautiful lazy boy trade there as well. New 1 hour came bearish, sent us back. So bullish, bearish. So remember, I've got our alert to see whether we break this low. Now this is, I mean, we're so choppy in between here anyway, but this potentially now, you've got a little bit more confirmation. Could trade between here and here, but it's just, this isn't normal, right? This isn't what we normally want to trade. If we look at what we like to trade, what we've seen, right, is that clean price break continuation, right? Break, even though we don't come down, we come back above, break, right? Break. Even this one where we had that nice clean move down, we've just got caught in between. So ideally, even out of this hour, we want to be trading out the 4 hour and 4 hour. This is bang in the middle of the raid. It's just off hourly candle data. It's given us a slight, well, a bit more of an advantage. So a bit more strength on these, as you can see. See if we can take that 4 hour. Well, do you know what, mate? The lazy boy system is... It's well, you've seen it, right? Back tested for tons and tons of data. It works. Obviously, for a lot of people, it just needs to be more visual. I know that's part of the future projects, right? We will have the lazy boy system with the buy and sells on with all the confluences. Long term, it'll be a bot as well. Long term, the lazy boy system will be a bot. Got a lot of plans to use the algo to help do that, to help create bots, even with alpha zones. I think from a price action point of view, alpha zones are just, they're so much better, right? They're just really nice to be clear where you're trading from and what you're looking for. So just bouncing between the 4 hour and the hourly. Again, I mean, I'll make this bigger. In a range. This is the trade. Don't need to get involved in this. Don't have to trade once we've got this, right? But I mean that rejection out of here, it's 160 points. I mean 160 ticks, right? It's crazy. Yeah, I just think we're going to get an inside bar on the hourly. So just to show that again. So here's our previous hour. So what have we got up here, right? Wicks at the top, wicks at the bottom. So buyers, sellers, we're trapped. Often when we get that, this means we're stuck in a range between buyers and sellers. And obviously if we can't break out, then the range gets tighter and we create our inside bar. And then potentially we'll be looking for that break to give us a direction. Man, that was to the tick, that entry. Beautiful. So we're playing our 4 hour. $50% retracement. Algo's bullish. Market structure's bullish. 4 hours bullish. Tap. 1 hour. Done. Yeah, NQ's been terrible. NQ's not been great for a lot of people. Gold's been like fire for me. Absolutely love gold. It's been great. CL, often not as trade CL as much, but they're still great trades. Break, retest, break, retest, break, retest. Bullish, up, retest. Previous 4 hour, out of the 4 hour. New hour, bullish. Right, breakthrough. Hold, out. New hour, come below. Reject, hold, breakthrough. Okay. Daily's bearish. Weekly's bearish. Be careful when going long as it's more corrective. Boo, boo, boo. So ES hasn't taken the low of the current hour, has remained bullish. Yeah, man, it's a great trade. It's all aligned. You follow your system. That's what you do. So I really like, I think kind of, you know, I'd be looking at this high going. Break above, high, retest the 4 hour and a continuation, potentially. And Q's just been a little bit more. So back to a 4 hour. Same thing, right? Big wicks, potential range. Nice trade out of there. That's good. Let's get our 50% level. Another rejection out of our 4 hour. Back to our hour. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you're just taking little base hits. So what I would say is, if you're going to finish up for the day, just finish up obviously with your one trade. If you did take this with me, come back a bit later, set alerts, right? Don't trade the chop, just be patient, wait. This happens a lot of the time, you just got to wait it out, and then your direction will be given, right? We're slightly more in favor of bearish action. I think 10 points off of an alpha box is definitely doable. It's definitely doable, right? I prefer sort of like 1Rs like that. If we're gonna put our stop below, I'd rather just get a 1R risk to reward off of it. But I mean, I like between the zones. But yeah, definitely. That is pretty much the definition of where we are. I don't know, I keep saying it, I know, but I'm sorry. Making higher highs, higher lows, just still pushing. So we've broke down our 4 hour, we've come back, we didn't quite make it back to our 4 hour because that's a previous 4 hour level. When's this one? So yeah, that's the previous 4 hour and that's the 4 hour before. And then our daily. No, 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 no. God, it's fucking boring. If I was you, I would literally go and set an alert, right? If you want to trade NQ, set your alert, walk away, wait for it to clean itself out, come back on and then trade it after that. Gold, right, we're bullish at the moment out of our 4 hour, so potentially we might come, we need a new hour, right? So either we're going to, got 20 minutes left, this hour's bearish, but if we can get another bullish hour, then you could look for a trade back to this previous 4 hour zone, right? Ping, ping, ping. If we can take the low, then we can look for a nice sort of switch to bearish 4 hour and a bit of a push down. So I've got my alert there. NQ, same thing, right? I'm looking for here and here. ES is looking a little bit stronger. Like I said, it didn't take the hourly low on ES, so ES has been a little bit more bullish. But our 4 hour, we still have our first high and low in our first hour. So right now, we could quite easily just correct up, tap our 4 hour, and then continue on down bearish. So again, that's what we want to see. We want to see the high go, retest, and potential continue. But it's looking more probable for a bullish return. So let's see, we tap our zone. I'm just going to give it 5 more minutes and then I'm just going to go sit off, wait for alerts to go. I'm not even going to trade because I'm already done with this trade. I'm just watching, see what comes up. Bearish on CL. Be really interesting to see this 4 hour, this current 4 hour flip bearish potentially as well. So remember our weekly comes down bearish, takes our daily, we flip bearish. Yeah, man, we are, I think it's kind of the sort of thing we are planning to do. He's got kids tonight, and obviously I've got 4 kids as well. So it's difficult sometimes trying to both get on at the same time. And we've been that busy building out this that it's just been insane. That's why we haven't been able to be on the lives, because we've literally just been working at it day in, day out, trying to get it all built and ready. But long-term goal, right, is with the solid products, is that we just build the consistency of being online and taking the piss out of each other. So we switch bearish now on the market structure. So just to confirm that, right? Look, bullish, right? Failed to take the low, just take the high. Now we take the low. So now we go looking bearish in our potential structure. Now we need to be mindful our current 4 hour is currently bullish as well, but it's an early indication of potentially we might see price come through and go bearish. So gold, we failed to take the low, right? So we've put in a new low. This is indicative of sort of these reversals, drop, level low, where we're not very spaced out. We come up, sweep the previous high, just a liquidity grab, and then reverse and drop for the low. That's like a real common pattern. See that sweep and then drop. Yeah, yes, creeping its way up as expected. We didn't take the low of this hour, making higher highs, slowly building our way through, and NASDAQ has got back to our 4 hour and had a lovely little rejection. And then goes back to the middle of the range. What it can do though is this could be the kick, right? Where sometimes it's just a little bit slow, but we'll see. Where we come down, come back, and then potentially continue. And that's that, just that. Come back to it and retest. Another 10 minutes as well, we get another hour. But either way, right, between the two levels, beautiful rejection, beautiful rejection, beautiful rejection, right? So if you were going for your 10 points, you've already done 84, you've already done 20 just from that rejection, right? So 20 points, 20 points, 20 points, loss, 20 points, obviously 20 points more. It's all about volume at the time as well. I like that. Often see that. Just a kiss, and then we go. So it looks like we're going to get our inside bar, right? So this candle, big wicks, big wicks. This candle, wicks above, wicks below, right? So we get our inside bar in 10 minutes time. And remember what we said about the inside bar, right? If you take the high of the inside bar, you have a 80% probability that you're going to go and take this high. If you take the low, you have an 80% probability you're going to go and take this low. And the 80% is you will take this low before taking this high, right? So if we take this high, you'll take this high before taking this low. Half of the problem is trying to identify what sort of price action you're in, and the 4 hours at this time at 10 a.m. make it really clean and easy to see, are we in a range, right? So when we flipped bearish, we were only looking to play potentially back to the range, right? We even got the daily there as well, right? So between the levels. And then back. So we've ping-ponged. I am not taking this trade, only purely I'm done with this trade and the previous trades on gold as well. That's the one I would have taken. That was beautiful. Yes. Back to the 4 hour. ES is a bit stronger. Definitely need a new hourly candle for ES. Back to the hour. So even between these two, right? Rejection, back. Pingity pong. But I prefer you stay, you don't trade in between this right in the middle, top, bottom. And all you need to do in a range is either trade from the top, down, trade from the bottom, up, never trade in the middle, or wait for a break and trade. This should give us potential early indication of which way is going to break. I'm not sure how many discount codes we've got left on the new release offer. Not too sure. So there was $100 off the lifetime that T set up. Not sure how many are left. Try and find out. I think the link's in the description. If you do want to, let me just, I can't be bothered checking. I'll just go. So, you get $100 off with the use code launch, and it was limited. There was only, I think there's probably only about 10 left now. I'd say there's probably only about 10 left, maybe less. 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 10 left, I go into ranges inside the course as well, explaining this exact thing that you're looking at now. Four minutes left, and our inside bar is formed. It's nothing worse than going live. I mean, this was great. We could have just closed the trade there, right, and just been like, "Way, see you later." But I wanted to stay on a bit longer, and then we end up in a range. But it's been quite indicative of NQ recently, so it's probably a good example of what you're looking for, wanting to look out for. Because it is difficult to, if you think about it, right, this 4 hour opened, right, and it's been quite strong, the price, right, in how we've moved. So having the zones on just helps you to identify, okay, where can I move to? Where could I get trapped, right? And then how long is that going to last? When do I might want to see that change? When's the gear going to kick in, right? So with the opening of new candles. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. On the top rock, that's great. Yeah, I mean, to come, so just in the roadmap's going to be published. We've got SMC, so we've got an SMC setup coming. Orb. SMC, Orb. I've got the higher time frame level, the important levels probability indicator that's going to run through previous day high and low probabilities, London low, Asia high, Asia low, current day high and low, and what the probability of them going during the particular candle or particular time that you're trading. We've then got more stats coming. So we've got the group stats coming as well. This is the high and low data, return to open for the 4 hour, 1 hour. So that stuff's coming as well. And then we've got a couple of tools coming just to make life a little easier. Trade size. Oh, there's another signals coming as well. So for alpha zone signals, right now, these signals, what we've launched with, there is another signals indicator coming, which is a fair value gap indicator. So we utilize inverse fair value gaps for the entry, and we've added a little bit extra to it because obviously when you investigate a fair value gap in an inverse, you find out some information on it. So we've added a little bit of extra MaxAlgo touch to it to increase the confirmation. So those signals are being built and will be added onto Alpha Zone. So anyone who's already got it, you'll automatically get that as well, which just gives you another option. I have found that those signals work really well during this 10 a.m. candle. They tend to because volume kicks in, they can work really, really well. So for example, here we'd be looking at a signal. Here we'd be looking at a signal. Here we'd be looking at a signal potentially. No. Yes. Down to here though. Again, we trade them from zones. Look at the 2 minute. 2 minute would be this one. This one. Not here. Nothing up here. No. Let's have a look on gold. That's been a little cleaner today, isn't it? Let's see. So probably have to go down time frames to see it on this. Yeah. Even here on the 30-second, right, we just don't get that push up. This is where these signals for me just won the day, just because there's some where you just, the inverse, you just miss out, but it is very good. So this signals off this previous hour. Obviously trading it back to the current hour would have been that trade. Previous hour box. So yeah, those signals will be coming out soon as well. Right, we've got our new hour. Yeah. So we're closer to this high. Let's see. So bullish candle in the end. Inside bar. So you could wait for the break of either high, right? And then tap back into the 4 hour. So that would look like you'd want to see up, tap to the 4 hour, continue, or we don't potentially need as much confirmation for the short side because we've already come down, but you know, it'd still be nice kind of taking out that low, daily continuation, or even the daily level being continuation. Let's see if we're going to get an inside bar. No, we've already taken the high. Come on. Come on. So, over averages, this has meant that we should come take this high. Obviously, we are still in the range. It's not a guarantee, but it just means that, you know, based on X hundreds of times that we had an inside bar, when we took the inside bar, we ended up taking the previous location. So it's an initial bias. I still would wait for, you know, clean getting above this level, right? To break this, we've got to get above the 4 hour, which you can see we are still struggling with. So we get a break. Nice. Come on, volume, kick in now. Let's get out of here. Here we go. Come on, yes. Previous hour. It's quite a nice wick. Remember our 4 hour. Right now we failed to take the low. Be careful of See the rejection on this hour. We don't get some sort of continuation, but rejection. Oh my god. Here we go. Back to back. Right. I am going to call it a day. I'm going to wait for my alerts to go off. Right. I've got tops and bottoms. Let's wait and see where we go. Right now, you've got your range top, you've got your range bottom. We've been staring at it for ages. Other than that, I'll catch you tomorrow, or obviously I'll be in the Discord now, so I'll see you in the Discord. Thanks everyone for a range. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Let's hope NQ tidies up today and let's hope that gold stays as clean as it is. Gold has been a thing of beauty. Mwah. We should have just stuck with gold again, just all taken that trade. I mean, obviously we got the NQ trade, but still, that's a fucking beauty. I love it. Right, everybody. Peace out. Love you lots.